Let me give you the agenda. My name is Patrick. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. Been doing that for, almost 6 years, maybe even between 6 and 7. Long time. In any event, what we're going to be doing today, I'm going to give you guys a quick, or I should say Taylor, is going to give you guys a quick high-level demo, who we are, what we do, what the software looks like. I think that goes about like 11 or 12 minutes. I'll come back on with some thoughts, and then we will get directly into your Q&A, which is always the most fun. You can ask any questions of me, any questions about the software. Probably the best thing, what I would advise you to do is tell me where you are in your business, what's working, what's not working, what's struggling, why you haven't taken the next step, why sales aren't mapping to what you think they are, what's working out there in technology land, any of the above. I talk to hundreds of artists and photographers a week, and I've been doing that for basically since March. So I've heard just about every story, seen just about every scenario, and I've got some really interesting insight on all of the above. So we'll jump into the demo, and then I will see you guys just in a second. Go ahead, Taylor.
All right, everybody, welcome to today's session. My name's Taylor. I'm on the marketing team at Art Storefronts, one of the people putting together our many resources and consulting and mentoring our members on a regular basis in workshops like these. Today's session is for non-members, so this is a free, wide-open session, and how it's a little bit different than what you get as a member. Our member workshops, which we hold 5 times a week at this point on various topics, are largely tactical, right? So it's giving our members ongoing advice, tweaks to their strategy, checking in with them, seeing how far they've gotten since we last spoke, and making sure their business is always growing. By contrast, today will be largely about what we call unclogging the drain. Before you're even ready for tactical or strategic advice, you need to get the big thing out of the way. And we found through these non-member workshops that most artists and photographers out there have something. They have a big thing in their way. It can be a mindset problem, some kind of self-limiting belief that if you just simply do away with it, the path becomes clear. Or it could be something more practical, like not doing something that you really need to be doing. Whatever it is, we're going to find out about it today and fix it for you. Before we get into all that good stuff, I have 2 segments for you up top here, opening remarks. The first one, stuff you need to know about this workshop, how it works. The second, a little bit of an overview on Art Storefronts, just to get some context, set the stage, who we are and what we do. First up, the need to know information about today's workshop. To get in line to chat with us, right? To get unmuted and start to get some help, you need to use the raise hand button in Zoom. So at the bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see the participants button. You're going to hit that, and that'll open this on the right-hand side, where you'll find the blue raise hand button. You hit that, and that will do it, raise hand. You'll see up here, your name will show the blue raise hand button. That's the system we use. We go top to bottom, unmuting everyone that has their hand raised and helping them out. So if you have a question up front, you want to talk to us, you can do that right now and get early in line, so you'll be one of the first people to get some help today. If something comes up later and you don't have a question yet, but something comes to mind, you can always do it later in the session too. The second thing you need to know is that we have a page that we call the show notes. And that's where we aggregate all of the links to resources that come up today. So if one of us says we have a really good video about that, or we say we actually have a podcast episode that would help you out, you don't need to be hunting around for that in the moment. We're doing that for you. We're collecting it all. Here's what the page looks like. We're going to send this to you after today's session ends. We're going to email it to you. So you'll find the replay at the top. Right? So if you have to leave early or you arrived late, or even if you missed it altogether, you can always catch up with the replay here. And then this is the show notes section I was talking about. All the links will be there, everything that came up. So you'll have that. Don't worry about looking anything up. In the moment, we're taking care of it. I should also mention on this page while you're here, there are a couple of request a demo buttons. Those are your go-to spots for either signing up if you just want to get going, or reaching out to us, having a more in-depth chat about our features and our pricing and stuff like that. That's how you start those conversations. If you just want to do your research and get to know us, see if there's a good fit, you hit the request a demo button, you fill out the form, and we'll get in touch. That's how you do that. Okay, second segment today, what even is Art Storefronts, okay? So here is the very quick overview. And like I said, the demo is where they go in depth. They'll do an hour for you. They'll answer as many questions as you have. But today, I don't know how many people here already know everything about us, nothing about us. So I'll just go right down the middle and do a very quick overview. There are two halves to art storefronts. There is the website software, right? So that is the art selling website. And then there's the marketing program, and that is really the fuel for that website engine. The website could be fantastic. We believe it's the best website software for artists ever designed. We really believe that, and I'll show you why in a moment. However, all of the power of that website is meaningless if there's no one on it. So the marketing program is what completes the whole membership. I'll show you both halves now, starting with the website. There are hundreds of features. It is very difficult to give you a full overview of everything that's going on with this software. So I think I will just show you what's really most important, right? The product page. At the end of the day, everything on your website is designed around getting people here to the product page where then they can check out and buy your artwork. So what is the big deal with these product pages? To explain that, let's just clarify that I'm showing you an artwork product page today. That's the important one. We also have what we call standard product pages, and that's where you can sell anything. If you have ceramics, jewelry, clothing, you can sell all of those product types on art storefronts. It does not need to be solely wall art. But I want to show you the wall art product page because there's an important thing to get straight here. These pages are set up specifically to sell wall art. That's in contrast to a website provider like Squarespace that has to have their product pages work for all product types, whether you're selling artwork or toilet paper or electric scooters, right? It works for everything, which creates a master of none situation when it comes to their features. They have not considered artwork in particular, so they have not addressed the problems, the challenges with selling artwork online like we have. The big deal with selling artwork online is that there is a lot of friction. It is not a product like toilet paper or electric scooters where you want what it does and you find the one that you like and you buy it. It's a little more complicated than that. Buying art is an emotional journey. You fall in love with the work, you get to know the artist through their emails and their social media posts, you save up for it, eventually you get the wall space open, but even then you have questions like which piece should I select and how is it going to look with my wall paint color, how's it going to work with the other pieces of artwork in my collection? Will my spouse like it? How do I show it to them in the best way? What are the media types available? I've never heard of this word acrylic. Is that worth looking into? What size is going to work for my space? I don't want it to look too small or of course too big. All of these questions are where you lose sales. People have those questions, your website does not answer them, and they never get it answered, they leave. You cannot rely on people reaching out to you actively to ask these questions, right? Your website needs to passively answer them for you all the time. Whenever that question comes up, whichever one it is, your website comes in and says, oh, here you go, got the help for you right here, problem solved, keep going, keep making the purchase, right? That is what maximizes art sales. Let's start by just looking at the layout of the page. Image on the left, buying options on the right. Not below, not somewhere down the page you need to scroll to find. Everything is visible on one screen and it's all expanded. There's not drop downs. Everything is image based. This is like the express lane to checking out artwork online. Beyond that, you can offer every version of an image side by side. The open edition prints are right here. With one click, you can start shopping the limited edition prints, signed and numbered, highest quality, that sort of thing. With another click, you're over to the original version of that image. If the original is available, you could step up and buy it right here. Finally, the multi-panel. This is where you break up a single image into 3 prints, right? So it's a huge upsell. You turn one print sale into 3, very sleek and modern presentation. I love that one. If you don't offer one of these media types, like you're a photographer, so you don't have originals, you wouldn't have this tab on your website. This is just showing all the possible options, but you'll set it up to whatever you actually offer. So if you don't have limited editions, it's gone. It's not on your actual site. It adapts to what you actually sell. Within these, let's look at the open edition prints. Now, the big challenge there is explaining the media types. The average art consumer does not know terms like canvas gallery wrap, G-clay print, metal, acrylic. They don't know what these look like. They don't know what they are. So it becomes difficult to make a smart decision until they do. So the website's job is to educate them very quickly and visually. So here's how we've done that. When you click on one of the media types, the preview over on the left-hand side adapts in a subtle way. So this adds a little bit of virtual depth to this image because we selected the canvas option. That clues people in, oh, this is that traditional thick gallery look. Beyond that, maybe they don't know what metal is, you can hover on these tooltips here, the little question marks, and then you can launch a video. These are custom videos we've produced just for our members that show every angle of these media types and summarize the benefits. They're about 15 seconds long, and they instantly create that connection of, oh, that is what I want. Very powerful. Beyond those buying tools, you have the visualization tools. This is for questions like, I love the piece, I know I want it on metal, I'm just not sure if it's really gonna look good in my space, or how large I should buy. That's where the visualization tools come in. Wall preview is the starter there. You can select a room type, and you can get going very quickly, a good representation of what size you need, right? So let's step it up, the 30, that looks good. The 32 looks even better, right? You're stepping it in. We've got wall color here. These aren't random. These are the top selling paint colors from last year from Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams. So there's a high likelihood your buyers will actually find their real wall color right in here. Very simple, very fast. So this helps clear up some of those questions, but we take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here, and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space, and now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever. It is their real, actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy, and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on, QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more, but that is the engine. The Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list. Your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks. 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefronts website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members-only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing, and in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit-by-bit look. This section is the high-level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black. Nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first, and then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar, though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work up front for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home. And our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
All right. Thank you, pre-recorded Taylor. Yeah, so happy post-election, not done art and photography marketing talk. I'll make just a couple of brief remarks, and then we can get into sort of whatever questions you have. Sorry, my dog is sitting down here, and he's making it awkward to put my feet. All of you guys on the call think you have a website problem for the most part. You think if you move your art, your photography to a new website, all of a sudden sales will start happening immediately. Most often that's not the case because most people don't have traffic and are not actively working on the marketing. The biggest problem that I see is that squarely, right? The biggest problem we have with our customers is just constantly teaching them marketing. So more so than a website company, we're actually we're an art business university and marketing consultancy. We actually have an in-house marketing agency too, where we help customers with stuff because marketing is really the biggest issue. So we can talk more about the marketing. We can talk more about the website. What I would say is that Q4, by which I mean Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the holidays, Christmas, all of it, is traditionally the biggest art selling time of the year, as it is with a lot of other goods, because of the situations on the ground with COVID and with shutdowns, lockdowns going back into effect potentially, and galleries not opening back up, the fairs and shows, large events largely canceled. The only place really to get art or photography, especially this season, is going to be online. So it makes a ton of sense to set yourself up in a position to be able to sell it direct this season. So important times. I think it's going to be massive. E-commerce penetration, adoption. So I can't remember what the exact percentages are, but if $100 million sold last Q4, 26% of it or whatever was online. My guess is that number will go to, maybe double, maybe even more than that, because the buying habits have changed so much. So it's a tremendous time to be in the market and attempt to sell your art. So my hope, independent of anything else, is that you guys are executing some sales, that you're going to give it a shot, try to get your work out there, try to sell it. If you don't have the actual product, i.e., if you're a painter and you have originals, then you're likely set, right? Because you have the product, the finished product, as it's going to hang on someone's wall. If you're attempting to sell prints and you're an artist, or you're a photographer and you're attempting to sell prints and you do not have prints, you do not have the inventory that you can show, you're in a significant disadvantage. So that's something we should maybe talk about and get into. I can kind of give you some tips on merchandising, and then I've got a special deal too that we'll talk about on that, not on the software, but on a merchandising exercise. But let's just start right in on the questions, and then I can kind of do some more ranting after that. I'm going to start with you, Elm. You're up first. You'll need to unmute your mic. Yep, gotcha.
Oh, hey, hello.
Hey. Oh, you muted and then unmuted. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm going to ask to unmute again.
All right, do you have me?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay, so my question is, I've been on here at least once, maybe twice.
Awesome.
And I have been doing live art shows. I'm getting pretty close to 30. Not all
makes me so happy.
Shows.
That makes me so happy. You have no idea how. Did you never did one before? You listened to us?
Oh, never.
Oh, Elm, I love that. I love that you executed on that. Tell us what you're doing them on. Are you doing them on Instagram or Facebook, or how are you doing it?
On Instagram.
Okay.
Usually, a lot of them right now are just watching me paint live.
Okay.
Although I have done a couple art shows, a couple in June, a couple more recently.
Love
and
this.
I've sold all but my two biggest pieces that I had ready from actually everything out of my basement supply. So
Awesome. Amazing.
that's pretty good. The thing is that while I have sold most of my past inventory, I am getting a lot from my customers that they don't like what I'm currently producing.
Mhm.
They want me to change what I'm doing.
Yep.
However, the comments that I'm getting are from not my target audience.
Yep.
They're not married. They're not stable. They're not with a home of their own, with wall space of their own.
Yes.
So the question is do I pivot my niche
Mhm.
when I don't have a huge amount of traction right now, but I'm getting something?
Okay,
Or
I literally
do I
love,
not?
I love this question. I love the language you're using. I love where your mind is at. This is all fantastic stuff. Amazing. Traction, pivoting. God, I love this. You've been listening. What was the total sales volume of the stuff that you did sell, all the basement inventory?
I sold about 8 originals,
Mm-hmm.
3 graphite originals,
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of cards and things that I no longer sell that were all limited edition, signed, numbered, all of that, and a couple of prints.
Okay. What was the total ballpark, the sales value of all of it? Is it a couple $100, a couple $1,000? Like, what do you think the total purchase price on all of it was?
Oh,
Gross sales, I should say.
between 600 and 800.
Okay, yeah.
Much.
Yeah, so you had
None
really
of my work is priced exorbitantly.
Yeah, you had lower priced items. Well, I mean, number one, if you sold that many individual pieces, it sounds like you're on the right track. That's number one, right?
This is currently what I paint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see that. This one's in progress.
Yep. Very cool.
This is what I'm getting people asking me to paint. What did Mommy do with that card she had in her hand? I think my child just ran off with it. Anyway,
Yeah, my kids do
children.
that all the time. My kids do that all the time too. You know what I would say is that, like, so what Elm's asking in terms, what she's essentially asking is my art validated, right? And on these calls, there's always a tremendous amount of people that don't have that question answered. And the question is my art validated? Mean, have you sold your work to people not named mother, father, brother, sister, family, friends, right? Who would buy anything from you? And if you have sold it to strangers, then you've pretty much made the determination that your work will sell, that you have a product that the market actually wants. So that's step number one. The problem is there are layers to validation, right? And let me give you an analogy, right? You could have a restaurant, right? And the restaurant's open and you're busting your butt, you're working in there 40 hours a week. And sorry, my dog's annoying me. You're working 40 hours a week and you're just kind of barely getting by, right? You're not sure. The sales volume and the sales dollars are not mapping to your expectations or your needs, right? So if that's the case, you can keep the restaurant open, okay, with the dishes that you are creating. And the idea is to start working on some new dishes, right? And what we're looking for is a home run new dish. Does that make sense? Like, you can keep doing what you're doing because you sold it. That tells me you're onto something there, and I wouldn't give up with that. And I keep trying to sell it, maybe raise your prices a little bit. But you can try some new styles, some new ideas, and some new things, Like, what the quote that I always use is? 45,000 works was what Picasso died with unsold. 45,000. What do you think he was doing that whole time? He was trying out new styles, new ideas, finding new things, right? And when he found something that people really, really wanted, he's like, okay, I'm on to my next big thing. So that's honestly how I say to approach it. And I would also say that this concept of, call it rapid testing new ideas and new works is the single solitary smartest thing an artist or a photographer could do. And it's no different than in being in the single days and going on dates. Like, you're gonna have to go on some dates till you meet the one, right? And then when you meet the one, that feeling is like, oh, but we have I'll give you two stories. So we have two of our very, very successful artists. Okay, one, they're both well over 6 figures a year. Let's just put it that way. One, the minute Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, you know, she's got daughters, and she found Ruth Bader Ginsburg to be really inspirational. Painted Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? Ended up being one of her highest selling pieces today, and it completely different style. She doesn't even do portraits, and she did this portrait, and boom. We have another guy who's in the rock niche. Like mostly he just paints musicians, and he did one of Jesus, and now that's the highest selling one to date, right? And it's the larger point is that, you know, they keep trying new styles all the time, trying to find something that will really sell and will really go big. And I really apologize, but I gotta let my dog out. He's driving me nuts. Out. Sorry, but did that answer your question? I think that's where I would go with it.
Okay. My one question with that is, it's because I'm creating originals, I lose 6 months working on a new project. It's not like I can try it and next week know for sure that that's where I want to go. I lose 6 months or more.
Why does it take it takes you 6 months to finish a piece?
Oh, we're talking elaborate portraits of children that are very highly detailed is what everybody's asking for. It's highly stressful. It's not relaxing.
Yeah.
Like my flower portraits, it's very detailed and intense.
Got it. What have you sold any of those?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you charge for those?
People like them a lot, but
what's a lot?
It's not what I want to paint for fun.
Yeah, $1,500, $2,000. What do you charge for them?
I sold both the sketches and the originals. The last one I completed was over 3 years ago, but it sold for over $1,000.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I mean,
but
that's
I still sell prints of that occasionally.
That's one of those tough things, right? Because if it's something that you don't necessarily want to do, we have a gal on our platform, and April, will you put the link in the show notes? Just make sure. I think her website's bunnypigs.com, and she does commissions.
Zane stuff?
No, she does. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, Zane with the dog portraits.
No,
fantastic.
No, it's not Zhang, but Zhang's amazing. We literally probably have like 30 artists or 40 artists that are in the pet niche. It's a phenomenal niche. Can be a phenomenal niche, but she does these. It's Allison Cantrell, and her name is Allie Cantrell, and she does these hand-drawn pet portraits. Okay, and she opens them up. She opens up like a limited buying session, and she'll do anywhere from like $20,000 to $40,000 in 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours when she opens it up. Problem is, they take her a massive amount of time, and like you, she's like, it's freaking me out. I can't handle it. I'm bored. The creative, this, that, and the other.
Does she do the French bulldogs with the super tall bunny ears?
Yes, I believe so. Well, I think she does all kinds of different dogs, but April will get the link and she'll put it in the chat. We'll send it to you guys afterwards so you can take a look. She was freaking out about it, and she was contemplating, like, I got to do something else. I'm losing my mind. I'm going to go start trying to sell merch or something else. And we convinced her. We got her on the phone and convinced her to change course. And do you know what she's done? She's hired understudies, and she's not doing all of them anymore. But you know what's amazing? She's still selling them like crazy. So something to contemplate there. If you have a market for those and they are absolutely selling, you know, number one, especially now, I would be like, I'm going to keep taking deposits on these. I would raise my prices a little bit, and I would eventually find someone that can help you do them or help you finish them off. Because the hardest thing to do is get a particular work or style working where people are giving you that type of money. If you've got that sorted, every other problem is pretty easy to solve. I know in your head you're like, wait a minute, not me doing all of it? Yes, not you doing all of it. You know that famous painting from Damien Hirst, and they're dots? They're a bunch of colored dots like in a row. Damien Hirst has not painted one of those in the last 25 years. I read that in a book. He doesn't do any of them. Zero. His understudies do all of it, and I think he's since discontinued that. But, you know, the hardest thing to do is to get something working and get something that's clicking. So, you know, even if you did the sketches and you passed it off to somebody else, that's totally viable, or could be totally viable. So it's an interesting thing to think about.
Should I listen to that, though, if it's not my target audience and not people
You should
that
listen
I
to
think
it. You should listen to it in as much as, do you have a PayPal or a Venmo account?
I do.
I hear you guys. It sounds like you really want me to work on these. That's fantastic. I'm going to let you know I'm taking deposits for the next 48 hours. You can PayPal or Venmo me $1,000, and I'll get started on yours first. That's how much I want you to listen. If the dollars come in, you're on to something. If not, it could just be, trolls, whoever. I mean, not necessarily say trolls, but you know what I mean? People just, oh, yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. I could paint more of those, right? It's like, it's when somebody tells me like, oh, people tell me my work is great all the time. They tell me they love it. Ooh, I got into a juried show. Amazing, right? Yeah, that is amazing. Now go down to the ATM and show me the button on the ATM machine where it says juried show, or it says everyone says my work is awesome, and you press that button and money comes out, right? It doesn't exist. So you got to go for the transaction. Always have to go for the transaction.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. But good start. You're plugging away. As soon as you're ready for us, I can't wait till you come on board because your mind is already in such an advanced spot, which is incredible. I would also say, and this is where I got to go into my merchandising rant. So give me 1 sec. I get in my little stack here. If you're going to run a show like this, you got to have some props, right? So I think one of the biggest mistakes artists, photographers make is they're running around on their various different posts and the sales they have and everything else, and they're thinking they sell 2D images. You don't sell 2D images. You sell this. You sell whatever's ready to hang on the wall, right? The finished product. And if you're going to be taken seriously as someone who's actually attempting to sell their art or photography, and you do not have the finished product in the top 6 media types to be able to show and talk about and articulate the subtle differences between the two, and I might as well go through the 6, you need 1 watercolor paper, framed or unframed. You need 1 photo paper, and sorry, the green screen makes this look a little wacky. You need to have 1 canvas, okay? You can show it, talk about it, see that it's ready to hang, doesn't need a frame. Metal, got to have the piece on metal. Show that that's easy to hang. Shows what it's looked like, the detail, how beautiful it is, the fact that it's one of the hottest mediums in the game right now. Acrylic, also kind of brand new, also very, very popular, very expensive too, so you're able to get like much higher price points out of it. One of my favorites actually is acrylic. And yes, even wood, also an important medium, also a medium that's selling incredibly well. Once you have your work on these 6 mediums and you can show and you can articulate and you can explain to a potential buyer the various different media types that your work is available on. Like, let's say Donna was my potential buyer and Donna said, Patrick, I'm interested in one of your works. Wonderful, Donna, thank you. I offer the prints on a number of different mediums, and I find that it sort of just comes down to personal preference. Are you aware of some of the subtle differences that are available in these media types? No, actually, I'm not. Okay, well, Donna, let me just jump on a video call with you, and I'll walk you through them, exactly like I just did. Your work's merchandised. You can be able to show it off. You can talk about the subtle differences of each. It gives you the ability to talk about it. I mean, I always use this photo. It's like, this is Positano, Italy, in the Amalfi Coast. It's one of the most beautiful, highly trafficked tourist venues in the world. Fun fact, I'm above the main church here where I took this photo. I was in the balcony of a hotel called Le News, which is just an incredible place, €1,800 a night. Didn't stay there. And fun fact, do you know that each one of these little houses here on the hill can never change the color of paint without council approval, and they don't ever grant it? So, you can instantaneously talk about a work, you can merchandise it, and then you can say, I normally sell something like this for $600, but if anyone wants to take it today, I'm willing to let it go for $300. There you go. How few people on this call actually have their work ready to hang that they can show that's obviously not gigantic too. The best thing about all of these, as you'll notice, is they're all small. Right? They're really small, which means they're inexpensive to get printed. Extremely inexpensive to get printed. So on that note, I would say between now and Q4, if you don't at least have your work on the 6 different media types, it's very difficult to articulate the differences and show them potential buyers. You have to get that done. So highly, highly recommend you do that. If you're attempting to validate your work, even more so, because if you don't, no one's buying a 2D image, okay? No one is buying a 2D image. They're buying the finished product. And what I always say in these calls, like, if I just hired Donna to go door-to-door salesman, be a door-to-door salesman for me, and the product was knives, would she show up and knock on someone's door and show them a catalog of pictures of knives? No. She'd come with the knives. She'd show the finished product, right? Here's what the knife looks like. So, that's a mistake that I see artists making just time and time again. Critically important. On that note, April, will you put a link to asfprints.com in the chat? If any of you guys need to get your work printed on all the various different media types, we have a website where you can upload, get it shipped to your house, and have it in a very short period of time. And I think we also, for the first time, I don't even know if I should say this. I wanted to keep it only to the people in the Zoom. It's okay. There's a coupon code. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to say it online because then everyone in the chat, everyone in streaming is going to see it. I'll put it in the chat and we'll send it to you in the show notes. But you can take 20% off the order. So I think you could get all 6 media types in these small sizes with the 20% off coupon for probably like between $80 and $110. You put the order in, you get the media types so you have them. You just pick whatever images you have. Use a differing batch just like I did, and have something where you can merchandise and sell and talk about them. It is so important. So if anybody wants to do that, there's the code for 20% off is in the chat. So yeah, that's what I'd say. It's really weird, by the way, Donna. Your camera's on, and I see the reflection. It's like the Matrix or something. I see the reflection of myself in that piece in the back left-hand corner behind you, and I can see it. It's kind of funny. I've never had that happen before. Anyone else? Questions in the chat, or you can raise your hand. What are you working on? Are you taking Q4 seriously? Are you taking the sales seriously? It's going to be the biggest art selling Q4 in history. It's going to be massive, absolutely massive. So you have to get yourself in the game. You have to give it a shot. There's no better time, period, to sell art. For all the aforementioned reasons. People are not going back to work. They're in their houses. People are fleeing the cities for the suburbs. More white walls. Home decor across the board is exploding. Every single solitary company involved in home decor has just had the biggest COVID bump ever. Everyone from Etsy to even like the big home furnishers like Wayfair, and art is just in that category. So it's been selling incredibly well, which is extremely, extremely encouraging. So, what do you need to validate your art? You need your samples. You need your cell phone. You need to go onto the social network, turn the camera on, and start talking. My first guest, now I'm blanking on her name. I think it was Elm. She's been doing it, and look, she sold $800 worth of art doing that. That's phenomenal, right? We have some customers that have sold, I got one buddy that sold $30,000 Canadian in 15 days over 2 shows, which is just amazing. So yeah, Maria, you're brand new to everything. Well, I'll just unmute you, Maria. Let's see if you have your mic on. You'll have to hit the mic in the lower left corner to be unmuted, Maria. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so what are you asking?
Well, how does it work?
Mm-hmm.
We sign up and you do what? Like what do we have to have on our end other than the money, of course?
Yes. Well, very little. So I don't know if you saw the whole demo and walked through every. Did you see the demo up front and you're still sort of confused? Is that the sense? Did I lose you? Yeah. Oh yeah, you went back to mute. Here, I'll unmute you again.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It happens all the time.
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
But well, I mean, I don't want to take a lot of everybody's time, but the way I found you is because I am researching on how to start doing my online selling of my art.
Mm-hmm.
So, on top of not knowing enough about it,
mm-hmm.
I have a lot of information in my head and I'm beginning to confuse it. I know I've seen it, and at first I thought you were like a site where I would get my webpage from.
Yes, we are. In addition to many other things, but I'll explain it. But let's start at the top. Have you attempted to sell your art before? Have you ever sold your art?
Well, I'm a graphic designer by trade, so yes, I have sold my art. But now I've gone to fine arts.
Okay.
And I'm doing different kind of stuff, and so I just made the switch.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to see the best ways to go and.
Yeah, absolutely. So Let me do this. I'll give you the whole thing from start to bottom, and then we'll get into what our product, our service is. I would say before you do anything else, you need to validate that the new direction will sell, right? So if you should get samples, like I said, so you have your work, especially your work's digital, on the 6 different media types so you can show it off. And I would attempt to start selling some of it. And it's no more difficult than using the following that you have on Facebook or Instagram, whichever one's biggest, and saying, hey guys, it's Maria. Because COVID's on and it's the holiday season and everything else, I figured I'm going to start selling my art. And I'm trying to figure out if there's a demand for it. So I wanted to show you a couple of pieces. I wanted to talk about my inspiration on how I created them. You know, in your case, if it's all digital, you could talk about how many layers of whether you use Photoshop or Illustrator, all those kinds of things. You know, romanticize the piece a little bit and say, you know, a 24 by 36 metal print like this would normally sell for $1,200. I'm willing to let it go for $800. If anyone's interested, leave me a comment, send me a text message, send me an email, and I'll follow up with you after the fact. You take PayPal and Venmo, or you can send me a check. That's what I would do first, right? And validate that it's going to sell. If you get a good amount of interest and people are like, oh my gosh, I totally want this. This is awesome. Then I would put in a demo. I would request a demo and come on board because we can help you. And what do we do? Yes, we provide the website that you can sell your art on directly and handle all of the back end stuff and handle all the printing and fulfillment and all of that. But in addition to that, okay, we teach you how to market all year long. And when I say we teach you how to market, we teach you absolutely everything. I'm going to pull something up in Slack, which is totally awesome, by the way. So, you know, as you can maybe see in the demo, literally the secret sauce of what we do is we teach you how to market all year long. It's a very, very important deal. And what do we mean by how to run a sale, how to run a live art show, how to contemplate Facebook ads, how to worry about email copy, and all of these things. And you know, it's so funny because I can show you this, and I'm pulling it up. I got to find the channel I posted it in. I was on Instagram the other day, right? And you know, one of the things that we do is we advise our customers on when to run a sale, when to start it, how to do it, what type of post you're going to use throughout the whole thing, and what the various different language pieces look like. And I just want to show you how awesome this is. Or some of you guys might go, awesome, that is the most ridiculous looking thing I've ever seen. Where is it? Hold on. This is being difficult. Just give me a sec here. I got to figure out how it's going to let me share this. Almost there. I guess I'll just do the whole screen. Sorry. All right, I'm going to have to move some things around, but I'll show you guys. Let's just do this full screen. All right, get this out of the way. So I went on to Instagram the other day, and what do you notice on all of these various different Instagram posts? Surprise, my 2020 Black Friday sale starts now. Surprise, my 2020 Black Friday sale starts now. Surprise, my 2020 Black Friday sale starts now. On and on and on. And so we teach our customers absolutely everything to do, how to do it, what the language should be, what it should say, and all the various different nuances that are there. Were you guys able to see that, by the way, or did I screw up the screen share? April, you might need to tell me, was it working? I don't know if it was or it wasn't. Donna, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you could see my screen there. You could? Okay, so all right, that worked. Yeah, so that's what we do. I hope that answered. Maria, did that answer? A long roundabout way to answer?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's what we do. But I would definitely try to sell your stuff first. Make sure that there is indeed a market for it. My guess is for you, you know, you'll find out very quickly, and because you're a digital artist and because you have the ability to create like you do, it'll be very easy for you to figure it out. And if you don't have it on the first go round, my guess is your creativity will get you there pretty quickly.
Well, actually, I'm doing more acrylic.
Acrylic painting.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Okay, I've got some questions in the chat. So Elm Lamaster is asking, do you think people are buying right now over election days? Or are they too busy watching all that, or just ship it? They were distracted yesterday, but now that's done. It's done. I mean, I realize they haven't called the winner and it's going to be dragged on for weeks, but all the pent-up anxiety about that, it was very temporary. We're going right back to Q4 buying season, and our customers are destroying it right now. The early data looks so good. It looks so good in comparison to last year. And again, it's only partly because we're good at marketing. It is mostly the situations on the ground, as sped up by COVID. So phenomenal time. You can't miss Black Friday. You can't miss Cyber Monday. You need to get some sales in the water, because it's just a tremendous time to do so. So that's what I would say on that one. Melinda's asking, is Facebook or Instagram better for virtual art shows? I need to sell art in order to have the cash to sign up. Absolutely. I'll put in the show notes a link to a couple of the ones that we've done. The short answer is you need to audit what you have in place. If you're more active on Instagram, you have more followers on Instagram, start there. If you're more active on Facebook, more followers on Facebook, start there. And then you can always run one on one and then one on the other as you get a little bit more comfortable with it. But I believe, full stop, and I've said this a number of different times, that what is the best way to sell art or photography? Sorry, I have to, my screen's reversed, so I have to do this. It is face-to-face, in person, right? No one's arguing that. No one ever will. Problem, we sleep, and we're geographically fixed on this earth, and we can't have 65 conversations at once. So you have to have a website, right? You have to have a website that can sell for you in your sleep and all those other situations. The direct video selling is the new step in between. And it already is, in my mind, going to be the biggest disruption to the art and photography sales process and industry in the last probably 100 years. Because you now can turn on a phone, start talking to it, show your work, merchandise it, have a flash sale, and reach potentially hundreds of thousands of people and make sales direct. And, this was the minute live streaming sort of had its it was invented a while ago. The technology kept getting better, bandwidth kept getting better, and so we had all these things converging at once. And the minute the pandemic hit is when it really started rocking. And my one buddy, I use him as an example, which is sort of an unfair one because he's been marketing for a number of years and his art is very good. I'll show you a piece. I'll put one of his pieces behind me. But he had a bunch of excess basement inventory. So this is the artist in question. And he had a bunch of inventory that was in his basement that he hadn't even looked at in 7 or 8 years, right? And the piece behind me, I think he sold for 18 grand or 20 grand. So his stuff's at a high price point. But this inventory that he had in his basement, he's like, I haven't looked at it in years. It's all these random pieces. I need to blow it out. So we ran a live art sale, and April's going to put it in the show notes. You can watch it. You can look at it. You can see the whole thing from start to finish. And over 15 days, 2 shows, he sold 62 pieces, which ended up being $30,000 Canadian. Now that's amazing, but it's not the norm, right? Because this is a guy that's been marketing for a number of years. He's very successful. That's not what was wild about it. What was wild about it was he sold art in his native Canada. A number of pieces got shipped to North America. A couple went to the UK. One went to Germany. Two in South America. And I think he shipped 1 to Asia. And so I look at him in that situation, a guy that normally has the gallery shows and a guy that normally does a 50-50 split, right? And he just had a live art show in his garage in Canada, in Laval, Canada, where he's from. And not only did he sell that many pieces, which the biggest disaster in this whole thing was he didn't hire someone to do the packing and shipping. So I think, him and his significant other were at the packing and shipping for 2 weeks afterwards, trying to get all these original works out. But the fact that he was able to sell direct to keep 100% of the revenue and do so in such an international fashion without leaving his house, is that not insane? It's insane. Nothing like that's ever been possible before, right? And it happened because he's got that many international fans on his social media sites because he's a big up and comer. So it just goes to show you how tremendous it can be, how the balance of power is shifting completely back to the artist if they're working on their marketing and if they have some attention of their own. The only reason to go to a gallery is because they had the attention, right? They had the good location in the center of town and they had a list of buyers that were coming in there all the time. That's the only reason you would give up 50% in that situation. But when you're doing the marketing on your own and you're selling directly and you keep 100% of that revenue, it becomes an incredibly interesting scenario. So very, very bullish on the live art shows. Again, reason number 357, why you need to have the pieces such that you can merchandise them. But yeah, so okay, so I'm going to get into some other questions in here. How do you begin a new way when you've been an artist, had shows sold, and now it's come to a halt? Internet is the answer. Yeah, it is the answer. So this is one of the biggest heartbreaking situations ever. Oh, Donna, that's you. Okay, I might as well unmute you too, because you're right there. You can hit the mute thing on the bottom of your thing, and then we can both talk. But my guess is, Donna, why you're finding that is you'd been a successful artist. You sold a bunch over the years, but you relied on offline. It's in the bottom left-hand corner of the Zoom window is where you'll find it. I'll let you know when you get it. Oh, yeah, I think she just popped right off. Okay, we'll see if she comes back on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you turned the camera off. And it might just not work if you can't get it. Sometimes you've got like the wrong mic issue. But anyway, you just give me the thumbs up if this is correct. So you sold a ton of art in the past, probably relied on theirs or shows or galleries. Is that the long and the short of it? And now COVID has hit, and you're kind of just in the scenario. Yeah, it says you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. What there is to the right of the microphone in the bottom is this little up arrow, and then you have to like pick which microphone you have. And my guess is you either have the wrong mic or there's something wrong with your mic. But while she's figuring that out, I would say, there's so many that have sold incredibly well before, right? Like maybe even to the tunes of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they were not selling direct, the direct to consumer model, in which they were not keeping all of their customer data, i.e. they did not build an email list. They did not have a list that they can market to in perpetuity on a regular basis. They did not build up their own social following. They, just did the shows or let the gallery do that for them. And now COVID hits and all of those revenue sources are crushed. And it's brutal. It's brutal because despite the fact you're a really talented artist, and despite the fact that you've validated your work to that extent and done really, really well, attention is the coin of the realm. Attention is the coin of the realm in today's day and age. And,
I think this is a new way.
Oh, yeah, 100% it's a new way. Good. You got your mic working.
Yeah, I think it's a new way of going, but it's brand new, like you say.
Yeah, it is. But when I say, does it make sense to you when I say attention is the new coin of the realm? It's the currency in today's day and age. Let me put it to you this way. Some of the most powerful people in the entire world have the last name the Kardashians. Why? Because they have so many followers on these social media sites and so much attention that they can sell anything, and massively overnight sensation. I mean, literally, Kim Kardashian and the whole Kardashian clan just canceled their show. Why? Not because the ratings were bad, okay? They canceled the show because they went and sat down with Bravo or E! Entertainment Television, whoever put out the show. I don't know, I've never seen it. And each one of the Kardashians was getting $4 million per season to be on that show. That's after agencies. $4 million check. Kim Kardashian said to Dave Letterman, yeah, we didn't renew the show because I make more than that on a couple Instagram posts. So why would I want a camera crew following me around all day? And the point was, that show ran for 14 years, okay? For 14 years, she was building her following, along with everything else she did. And now she has all the power, right? And it's a profound story in the sense that all Kim is the artist. E! Entertainment Television was the gallery. That was the gallery, right? And the gallery came back and said, Kim, things are going great. Let's give me a new collection to sell, 50-50 split like always. And she's like, sorry, I don't need you. I have my own people I can sell things to, right? Mm-hmm. So, you have to have that attention piece, though. And that's essentially what we teach. But no better time to be an artist with it. I mean, the fact that you can sell internationally without leaving your house, without driving anywhere, without, schlepping a booth and standing on your feet 8 hours a day and paying booth fees and, talking and doing that whole thing. Like, it's absolutely amazing. And so it's totally the future.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I guess you start from your app, that's what I'm gathering, that you start with the app that you've put together. And then the next step is the marketing that goes to another way. So.
Yeah, essentially you sign up with us and you get a website, yes. And we get you live in 14 days or less. That's what we average when a new customer comes on board. And then we start teaching you marketing, and it never stops, ever.
Where do I get the information of what it costs and how you?
Yeah, so April will put in the chat and we'll email it to you. You can request a demo, and what happens when you do that? You fill in the information, and then somebody from our outreach team will call you, and it's like a 10-minute call. They find out about you. You can ask all those initial questions, plans, how things work, the ins and outs, any of it. And then if you want to go and see like the whole software suite, all the bells, all the whistles, all the features, then they schedule it. So that's how it works. So you could do that. Yeah, the link's in the chat. And I would say too that, Black Friday, Cyber Monday are coming. We want everyone to be up and running as soon as possible to start taking advantage of that. So we're having our own flash sale that goes to like, I think Monday or Tuesday next week, and it's 30% off, which is the biggest we've ever done. So make sure you tell them the flash sale when you talk to them.
Okay. So they'll send me something today.
Yeah, they'll get back to you today for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and all the links are in the chat, so you can just click on those. But good questions.
Because what you were saying, which is, in photography, that you need to have a lot of merchandise.
Yes.
Which I do. I mean, I have tons of drawers.
Good.
Like a friend in the garage. You want to come over to my house? I'll sell you a whole walls.
Make sure you watch. So what happens is that the minute this thing's over, we take all of the links and the things that we talked about and we put them in on a web page, and then we'll send you an email. I want you to watch. I want you to watch this basement sale that I did with my buddy Matthew, the guy behind me, right?
The one on the wall in back of you.
Yeah.
What is that? What should I watch?
So it's he calls it his basement sale, right? That was like yeah. And this is because the reason I'm bringing it up is because it's exactly what I want you to do. Exactly what I want you to do. And number one, for some reason, like the basement sale thing sort of evokes like garage sale, right? It like gets the human beings like, antenna up. Deals, right? Like, so there's something subtle about that that's unique, but it's literally just him. His studio is in his garage. Okay. There's no professional lighting. There's nothing out of control. It's him with his AirPods. I mean, I was helping him, and there was some software that we can get into later, but he's just talking about the pieces and just saying like, look, send me a message. Send me a message on Instagram or Facebook if you want it. First person that says sold, it's sold, right? And he's saying, make me an offer. And he sold 64 pieces in 15 days. 15 days swing between the two shows, like one show, the other show. And then he did a couple Instagram posts in between, but that's it. I mean, that's phenomenal, right? So you could go, Donna, like, all right, guys, the holidays are coming. We're all stuck inside. You're door to your walls. I have a bunch of work that's been gathering dust for the last 10 years. I want to get rid of it. Here it is. And just start showing them one at a time. Talking about it a little bit. Say, make me an offer. Put it down. Go through the next. Go through the next. Go through the next. And then don't.
Does it have to be framed?
No, it doesn't need to be framed at all.
Okay.
I mean, are they all? What are they? Are they all just like photo prints?
They're photo prints. Some are fine art, trees and stuff, but photojournalism all over the world, different places.
Yeah, that'll be so cool. I wouldn't frame any of them. Just try and sell them. Most people are very particular about their framing anyway, right? Like if you're going to pay that much money, you're going to want to see it, touch it, taste it. Like no one really does well selling frames online, in all honesty. But I would get a local option. I would get at least one framed. And let's say like you really thought this.
Here, I mean, I have like my tree. There's a tree there.
Yeah.
It's framed. In my house, I have a lot of different frames I could just show.
Yeah, you could just show and say like, hey, if you want me to take it to my local and get it framed and shipped to you, I could do that. But just say, I mean, just the reality is that you're just looking to open a conversation every time you show one of these pieces, right? So send me a message on Instagram, send me a message on Facebook, send me an email, and then just get into it and hand-to-hand combat on each deal. But my guess is, just by virtue of the fact that you probably have a lot of cool prints, a lot of them that. What are you into each one, right? Like there's sunk costs at this point. I mean, maybe the print cost you $10 or $15, right? Depending on how you did it, or $20 or $30. Like blow them out.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, my main thing in my art is like your friend in back of you. I love big, huge prints.
Yeah.
And to be a photographer and have the big, huge prints.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. Yeah. It's the best. I love huge prints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've sold quite a few of those, but like I've got everything that I was supposed to be doing, like everybody else, just came to a halt, and doesn't look like it's going to move.
No, it's not coming back.
I can't even go out of the country.
I know. It's definitely not coming back for a while. And I'm a deeply optimistic person at heart. I'm a glass half full guy, and I have been this whole time. And I also think that we live like in an incredibly politically charged world, and so everything's politics. But then it's like, wait a minute, look what's going on in Europe right now, right? UK locking back down, Germany locking back down, Belgium locking back down, right? Austria locking back down. Like, what's changed between them and us? It's a little bit colder, a little bit sooner
We're
there.
just 3 weeks behind them.
Yeah. So I just, now is more important than ever to take the online piece seriously. And it's unfortunately not a light switch. You don't just flick it on and it starts working for you. You got to build it up like anything else. But I don't see things going back to normal. Like even when we get out of this, okay, there's a vaccine, whatever the case may be, people are going to still be gun shy for a while, right? They're not going to be going to malls in the same clip. They're not going to be going to shows and fairs at the same clip.
No,
And so, yeah, so we're you know, like,
I was supposed to do a show.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be 2 years. It's going to be 2 years before we get back to normal. And even if you do a show, right, or you go to one of those fairs, like, if attendance is only like 10 or 20 or 30 or 40% of what it was years previous, it's not going to pay. The ROI is not going to be there. So, more importantly than ever now is this ability to market direct to your consumer, leveraging technology, and it's what we teach day in and day out. So, if you sold a bunch, Donna, we can help you massively.
What you got my attention though is because this just happened last week that out of nowhere somebody saw something of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw that. They never saw the picture in person.
Mm-hmm.
They asked if they could have it. They asked if they could have it 35 by 50.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, it could be approximately that size.
Yeah.
And it just sold for quite a bit of money, so.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean,
I wasn't there. I didn't bring it to their house. I didn't see them.
amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. Yeah. I mean,
in fact, I went to my framer and I said, you have to roll this. They did not frame. You have to roll
it
so nicely. So I don't want to crease to come.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, that's the other beautiful thing that we offer is, so we offer, what we call POD, print on demand, right? And so the way it works with our technology is you come on board, you pick which printer you want to partner with. We use Bay Photo on the West Coast. We have one on the East Coast called Graphic Dimensions. And when an order comes in, you touch nothing. The order comes in, you get paid, the printer gets paid, the printer prints it, they box it, they slap your logo on the side of the box, and they ship it to the customer. You touch nothing. Nothing.
And do you get to choose your paper?
Of course.
And you like to sample your paper before you do that?
Of course. All day. Both of them are like massive printers, right? And like, okay. I say this on these calls all the time, and it's sort of sad, but 10 or 12 years ago, there was still truly an art form to printing, right? Now, they all have this. They all have the same thing. They all have the exact same calibrator that calibrates the monitor, right? They're all using the exact same printers. They're all using the exact same inks. They're all using the exact same media types. And so the differences between, printer A and printer B, assuming they're using all of those things, are you cannot tell at all, right? Like, printing has sort of become a commodity, sadly, right? And I'm not talking about the good old-fashioned darkroom days. Heck of a lot of art form in that.
Still, there's coloring and there's coloring, because there's coloring in the difference of the printers. You can have two printers, and that there's a difference.
Yeah, you do, but the consumers don't.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, the consumers don't.
Yeah. They say that to me all the time, Donna. You're the only one that sees that.
Yeah, you're the only one. Stop it. And not only that, there's no ROI in you shifting a hue 6%. Zero, right? Like, spend that time marketing and getting more customers. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. But I'm not kidding. Yes, request a demo. Great. Talk to the outreach team. Watch that flash sale. Get the gears turning. And if you join, we have an entire step-by-step playbook how to do every single solitary bit of it.
That'll help me. Yeah. Because it's I know where it has to go. I know where it has to go.
Yes.
It's just, but getting there, I need a teacher.
Yep, you do. And your garage is cluttered, Donna. Move those things out of there. Get them moving, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for me? I think Leticia, that probably answered the question in terms of the POD. I mean, I should say too that, like, you have every option available to you want. If you're creating originals, obviously the fulfillment is on you, right? Because you have the original, you're going to ship it. If you want to use your own local printer because you have a great relationship, totally fine too, right? When an order comes in, send it to the printer, do it that way. Or you can fulfill with us or any combination in between. But What do I know conclusively? Our business, surprise, surprise, right, is 100%. How big we grow, how quickly we grow is 100% down to how successful our customers are, right? Like, there's a stat on Shopify, and Shopify is one of the biggest e-commerce companies in the world. It's actually the biggest company, I think, in terms of market capitalization in all of Canada, which is a fun fact. But anyway, there's a stat that says 99% of Shopify store owners fail. The businesses fail. They don't make it. They never go through. And whether it's that high or not, conjecture, but I think it's pretty close to being that high. And none of those people have a website problem. They all have a marketing problem. You guys all have a marketing problem. And so everything that we design as a business is meant to give you your time back, right? Like printing, shipping, fulfilling things is not a good use of your time. There is not a high ROI in you printing, shipping, and fulfilling things and taking the order and doing the customer service and driving down to the printer and driving to FedEx and waiting for something to be picked up. Like, no. You need to be able to spend that time on your marketing and getting new customers, new attention. So if you're not doing that, you're not going to be successful. So taking the printing off your plate is one of like the 15 different things that we do. All of which is just to get you back to marketing. I would also say too, I do this morning show. Sometimes it's just me. Sometimes it's with the CEO, called the Art Business Mornings. And April, will you get the one episode? I'm a marketer. Okay. I gave it kind of a snazzy title, which is Nobody Saw Your SH fill in the blank T. And that's the title of it. And I just recorded it this week, but it's a really, really good episode. So will you just paste the latest one, April, into YouTube? Totally want you guys to listen to this because it'll buck you up for Q Thor. It's short, it's free, it's $12. It's on YouTube. But it's a really good show. You guys should totally subscribe to it. But yeah, that's what I got. Any other questions? Randall, you just popped on. Questions? I got to unmute you. Hold on. I'll unmute you, Randall. You got to hit there's going to be like a little mute button in the left-hand corner, bottom left. Yeah, gotcha.
No, I don't have any questions. I'm just interested. I just recently had a bilateral lung transplant 3 months ago.
Wow, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm getting stronger. So in the next couple of months, I hope to get healthier so I can get out and do a lot more photography. I like nature. I like outside. Yeah. I do weddings every once in a while, but
sure. Not a lot of those. Not a lot of those going on right wedding. Now. Yeah.
They ask for too much there, and the price when you give it to them, they get crazy.
Yes.
But I just wanted to get to a point where I could build my portfolio up and to sell a lot of products. I was out in front of my house one day, and this lady across the street, she liked lighthouses, and I just happened to go in and take a photo of one, and she loved it, and I sold it to her for a little bit of money, and she loved it, and I said, well, I see this could be a great market.
Yeah, could be a business right there. I like it. It's how it starts.
Yeah, and come January, I want to really get started and get myself going. I'm retired now and looking forward to enjoying the rest of my life,
So you got grandkids behind you already too? You're not that old.
That's my youngest my oldest granddaughter is 20 years old.
Wow. You do not look. You do not look that old. You do not look that old, Randall. You're the lung issues aside, you're looking pretty healthy to me over there.
Yeah, I'll be 65 on the 22nd.
Oh, congrats, man. That's rad. That's rad.
But I wanted to listen to you and see what you said. Sounds great, and I'm looking forward to getting started.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, you heal up. Take care of those lungs, and
I will do.
We'll be here. We're not going anywhere. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And so Elm is saying a good question. It's like, what do you think the minimum someone can do for Q Thor? I'm swamped, and my husband doesn't want me to take on anymore. Totally understand that, by the way. My wife takes on more and more, and the kids selfishly come more to me. The minimum, okay, is one, and Elm's head's in the right place, but this is for everyone else. More art and photography is sold in Q Thor than any other point in time of the year, okay? The fact that COVID is on, the fact that e-commerce adoption is through the roof, the fact that the only available sources of buying art or photography are online and direct because the galleries are closed, the fairs aren't happening, none of that's going on. The fact that people have a lot of disposable income. And yes, I understand COVID is difficult for some people and puts them in a difficult financial place. Those are not the people that buy art anyway, right? The people that buy art have decent money, and what have they not been able to spend that money on? Travel, events, sporting events, date night, restaurants, bars, none of the fun stuff. So There's like 16 different reasons why this Q4 is going to be the biggest, certainly in the last 10 years, maybe even longer in terms of total art sales. It's really going to be phenomenal. So the most important thing is that you attempt to sell what you have and get it in the water and have a sale. So quite simply, hey guys, it's me, Randall, just recovering from my surgery. I just want to let you know I'm having a photography sale. It starts now and it's going to end on Black Friday. All week long, I'm going to be showing you the pieces. If you guys want to talk about them, I'm available for video chat. I take PayPal, I take Venmo, and everything's on sale. So look, we're all on Zoom calls. If you want to spice up your background, get something cool looking, rather than that busted wall you have, then let's do it. We can do that, or you can give them as gifts or whatever else. The sale ends Friday at midnight, and I'm going 20 to 40% off on everything, right? Just do that, right? What did I need to do that? Absolutely nothing aside from a few posts on my social. I email my list if I have an email list. I let them know that the sale is going to be coming. I put everything on sale and I post as much as I can. At least get a line in the water, right? Like, more important than anything else, get a line in the water ahead to Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Get a line in the water, whatever it takes to do that. So that's how I'd answer that, Elm. Yeah, that's how I'd answer it. I think it's just going to be literally bananas how much art and photography is sold online, more so than ever before. So, all right. That's what I've got. I'm going to leave it there. Remember, for those that are ready, close to signing up, make sure you tell them after you request a demo flash sale, because you get 30% off. It's one of the biggest deals we've ever offered. For everyone else, definitely watch the Art Business Mornings. The link's in there to just subscribe on YouTube. Really good show, really good information, super up to date. And, I get a cheat. I have data on 4,400 artists and photographers, and I look at the ones that are selling really well. So I know what's working right now today. So there's some really good intel on that show. But on that note, I think we leave it there. Thanks, everybody, for attending. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye, guys. See you, Donna. See you, Randall.